Let's talk about control. Because in the world of development, really, control is everything, right? Well, that's the big idea behind the brand new release from UIID, version 2.1.5. And listen, this is not just some minor patch. Nope. It's a pretty fundamental upgrade, designed to give you way more power and flexibility than you've ever had. So let's break down what that actually means for your day-to-day workflow.
You know, here's a question that I bet every single developer has faced at some point. Are your tools actually keeping up with your ideas? You've got this amazing vision, right? You know exactly what you want to build. But then the tools you're stuck with, they just create limitations instead of possibilities. It's so frustrating. What you really need is a platform that adapts and scales with you, not one that holds you back. And that exact problem, that's what UID v2.15 is all about solving.
And hey, the wait is over. As of today, it is officially live. This new version, it really only has one mission: to just tear down those old barriers and make your integration workflows so much smoother and more powerful than they've ever been.
So you might be asking, okay, why this update and why now? Well, it all boils down to two big themes: connectivity and extensibility. It's really about giving you way more options to connect UIID into the architecture you already have, and then extending what it can do to fit your specific needs.
And you know what's really cool? This whole thing wasn't just cooked up in some isolated lab. The real driving force behind v2.1.5, it came directly from you, from the developer community. So this isn't about what the UID team thinks you need. It's their direct answer to what you've all been asking for. That makes a huge difference.
Okay, this comparison really says it all, doesn't it? On the left, you've got the old way. We've all been there, that tangle of complexity, the painful, slow, manual syncing, ugh. But then, on the right, that's the new reality with v2.1.5. It's streamlined, it's automated, and it is fast. We're talking about moving from friction to pure flow.
All right, let's get into the good stuff. The first major pillar of this update is the massively expanded API. I mean, this is where that whole idea of granular control really truly comes to life. We're talking about giving you pinpoint access to your data like never before.
Okay, before we dive too deep, let's just do a quick clarification on what we're talking about. The best way to think of an API endpoint is like a specific door into the UIID system, right? So before, maybe you had a few main front doors, but now they've added a whole bunch of new specialized side doors, letting you get exactly what you need right when you need it. No more going through the lobby for everything.
So what does this actually mean for you in practice? Well, instead of having to pull down these huge bloated chunks of data you don't even need, you can now pinpoint the exact piece of information you're after. Just imagine, you could build with advanced filtering to get, say, a list of users from just one specific region. Or maybe you just need to retrieve their profile pictures and nothing else. That level of precision, that is the key to creating deeper, way more efficient customizations.
All right, let's move on to the second pillar, because this is where things get even more interesting. We're talking real-time automation with webhooks. So if the API is all about you pulling data out, think of webhooks as UID pushing data to you the instant something happens. It's actually a pretty simple concept, but it's so powerful. Instead of your app having to constantly pull the server asking, hey, did anything happen yet? Anything? How about now? Which is super inefficient, a webhook just acts like a smart notification. UID basically just taps your app on the shoulder and says, hey, just so you know, a user just signed up, or their profile was just updated, and it happens instantly.
And here's how that flow works. It's super simple. First, some event happens inside UID. Let's say a new user registers. Second, boom, UID sends an instant notification out to a URL that you've already set up. And third, your app gets that notification and can just react automatically. Maybe it fires off a welcome email or updates a record in your CRM. It's totally seamless.
Okay, so now let's bring these two things together, because this is where the magic happens. The expanded API and the enhanced webhooks, they aren't just two separate tools. They're designed to work in concert, together, to help you create these truly integrated, automated, and completely controllable workflows. So when you combine these new tools, what you end up with is a platform that's been fundamentally redefined in three core areas. This chart really gives us a great snapshot of where the team put their focus. As you can see, a full 50%, half of the entire effort went into that massive API expansion we talked about. Then, another big chunk, 35%, went into beefing up the power of webhooks. And together, those two huge pillars are what unlock that final 15%, a much, much deeper level of customization for every single developer out there. And ultimately, this is the whole point. UID now acts less like some rigid framework that you have to constantly work around, and more like a flexible, Lego-like component that just slots seamlessly into your unique tech stack. Finally, it adapts to you, not the other way around.
All right, so we've covered the what and the why. We've looked at the new API, we've looked at the enhanced webhooks, but now the focus totally shifts over to you, because your toolkit has just been seriously upgraded and it is ready for action.
And you can feel the excitement from the UI team too. I mean, they're not just shipping features for the sake of it. They're providing the tools because they genuinely want to see what the community, what you, will create with them. It's all about empowering you to build some really amazing things.
And all of that brings us to the final, most important question. The tools for more granular control, for real-time automation, for deeper integration, they're all in your hands now. Your new toolkit is ready to go. So, what are you going to create first?